It's the CaliGriot. And like I told you, I am pondering on what to do next, and actually pondering on how to shoot this for you. Now, what I'm doing is I'm making a watch band. One of the themes that I have, is called Busy Bumblebees. That's one of my themes, because I'm busy like a bumblebee. And hopefully it'll be activities for children and other people that want to be bumblebees too. So I'm a busy bumblebee. You have the grizzlies. Well, we're bumblebees over here. All right. So the busy bumblebees, that's what I'm going to be. Now, if I can just get it so you can see what I'm doing. There we go. And as you can see them roll, which is why I mentioned this is like a piece of felt or sponge, and you can gather your things and fold them together like this and move them. Okay? Move them. You can gather them, move them, and that's how you control your work. Okay? Again, I have a little kit. This is called whatever, bead something. And it had needle nose round. All right. It had needle nose flat. That's what this is. That's because the inside is a flat surface. To keep from dinging metal, you can wrap masking tape around here. Like I have this one with some tape. So when I squeeze on, I'm not gouging the metal. I had the bead selector in here, and that's just for scooping. When you have a lot of beads together and you have your eye on one bead, you want to scoop that out. I mentioned the visor, but you don't have to have it, especially if you have good eyes, which I don't. So after 40 years old, you might want them. Now the tweezers are angled. See? They're angled so they go right down in your box, into the corners and whatnot. So you can select with tweezers. All this is going to require muscle memory. In other words, practice. Practice, practice, and more practice. So, that's where we're starting, is the selection. And I'm trying to, I have another flat surface. So, get yourself, because you might have more than one idea. Once you start selecting colors, you might come up with another idea. So, you can buy these little trays at the dollar store. The cute little trays, see? And they have a nice little lip on the side so your beads don't fall off. They're easy to grasp and pull over to the edge and get control of them. See? Gotta get control of these bad boys. Okay, again, this is amber. A piece of amber. A piece like this is about a couple $100. So you select one centerpiece And that's why I make a lot of my pieces interchangeable. You can use different center pieces. I make a mechanism so that I can interchange them. See? They're interchangeable. I can switch the main necklace and put a different pendant on it. All right, now the next thing, your wire comes in what you call a gauge. The gauge determines your thickness. Now this one is thinner. Now what's funny, the numbers run backwards. This is 22 gauge, all right, compared to this one. Ooh, I want you to be able to see what I have to do here. Put my hands in front. There we go. See how one is thicker than the other? But the higher the number, the thinner it goes. So if it says 22, a thick piece of wire would be an 8 or a 10 or a 12 or a 14. When you get in the 20s, you're getting into a finer wire. And they do have it even thinner than this. For art purposes, you can select different colors of wire. All right? If you go to Michael's, they have pink, purple, color wires. They're still, I believe they still have some copper alloy in them. Basically, they're aluminum with color plating. So my skin will wear off these copper platings or gold platings or electric. They have all these different names for ways that they plate metal. But I will eventually wear it down to copper anyway if it's plated. I'll give you an example. So that's why they tell you to be careful. Sometimes there'll be warning labels on metal about pregnancy and cancer and things like that. If you see here, this has started to turn copper. This plating is wearing off. If you can see around the edges here. Yeah, you can see right here. That's all turning copper. The plating is coming off. It had a silver plating. See how it's turning right here? It's just as copper as this copper. So why not start with copper? And copper, you can get it coated and non-coated. For my purposes, I use non-coated. I don't want any other chemicals on it. And that's where we're going to start with is the gauge. Do you remember the gauge? The low numbers are the fat wire. The high number is skinny. They also match the size of the hole of the bead. On the beads, it will tell you how many gauges the hole is. Okay? On the tag of the bead, it will say so many milligrams. How big that hole is. It usually tells you. This says 16 plus. I can find. Now these are in tubes. These are the cheapest way you can buy your beads. These are called seed beads. You need these as fillers, accents. They come in all shapes. Like I love these. These are like metal square beads. So your beads themselves can have shapes. And when you take them out, don't pour the whole bottle out. Okay, don't do that. Because that just makes you have to sort more. I don't think I've ever opened this one. So I use my tool even to open it because it's got a rubber top. So you want to pour out just a few. You don't want to get them all over the place. Some beads are painted, so beware of that. Because if you wear them daily, the paint will come off. See, this is a square bead. So beads have shapes. And yeah, so this is a nice pretty silver. I'm working with, this has silver lining of the bead. So that might be nice to put next to it. But I'm concentrating on the browns and the golds. So I won't be using silver. And there's so many choices it will get confusing sometimes. I like glass beads that have no coating on them. You can use them in the water, hot water, chemicals, and they will not change colors on you. I love those. These clear beads. Not clear, but you know, yeah, clear. Clear, not the, yeah. I like them sparkly clear for accents. Me, myself. See how nice the accents look? Where's it at? Sparkly. Some of them you can make, you know, you can use flat. If you want flat beads, just like it comes in lipstick, it can be glossy or flat. The beads can be too. Now your beads are going to run you about, like I said, $10 about for 6 inches. So that means a little bitty strand about this long. You know what this is? This is Swisher Sweet box. They're perfect. You put your center bead in the middle that you're thinking about. This is great for organizing. You get beads on this side even and beads on this side even. Let's say we're going to put one blue on this side and a blue over here. We can see what it looks like in this box. I wish I didn't have to pick the camera up to show it to you. I'll use bigger beads. Okay, so let's say I want to do it this way. And this way you can see what works next to each other. Oh no, I don't want that. I'm going to try this combination. See? Oh, but I want an accent in between. Would I use a blue to accent, even though it's small? You could. I would suggest the opposite color. I would, whoops, let me pull this down. I would go more with me, myself. I would try another type of brown, another color of brown, another hue would go good. But I like glass. So that means I need my tweezers. Okay. Do I want to use this color here next to this bead? Here's an odd shape one. Maybe I want to use this red instead of this opaque red. You have this one that you can see through. So even small, and this is even shaped differently. Even small things like this, you want to, it becomes what you call problem solving skills. Oh, here's a nice bead. This one's kind of a shell natural. That'll look great next to this brown bead. See? That's how I like to do my color combinations. Now, how will I see that? Well, if I use this little box, I can lay it down, see? And see what it looks like next to it. Okay. Maybe, like I said, maybe I want this one in between. Oh, see how small that is? Now I have to take into consideration the size of this hole. Now this bead cannot go through the hole. It has to be big enough so it doesn't slide through if it's sitting next to it. If I picked a little bitty bead like this hole will eat it up. Okay? You can also use as separators metal. It's my dog scratching his little bed again. And he looked at me. Yeah. You guys can hear them scratching, lapping, all kinds of good stuff. Okay, and now that I know what I'm looking for, it's an accent bead. Or maybe I want metal to go by it. I didn't mean to mess it up there for you guys. Maybe I want a metal accent, and it goes in between like this. It's another fat hole. So this big hole would be like an 8 millimeter. The bigger the hole, or the bigger the piece of wire, the smaller the number. The smaller the gauge. All right. So, did you learn anything? I hope you did. I want you to come back. I'll be working on this watch. I'm replacing a band. I took out the pin, the pin that holds the wire. That holds the watch. Usually there's a little pin that goes right here, a bar that holds I took it out and I boldly wrapped the 4 corners of it. And I'm working from here. I'm not sure what I'm doing yet. Not even sure. But this is the beginning. And that's kind of what alchemy is. You go with the flow. Now, my brother suggests that you draw it. You draw your designs. That's helpful to remember. I do a lot of photography. I shoot mine as I'm going. So maybe I'll shoot this stage so I can see how I did it. All right. And probably tomorrow we will have a set. I will have a set or come close to it. I might come back later. We'll see. I'll have a set with this amber as the center. Yeah, this is beautiful. And working these around so that I have a watch band, a ring that matches, a watch band. I like to make sets. So this purple matches this one. And eventually it should even match this set that I'm working on. You will find out that it will mix and match. That's what I like to do. Mix and match these colors. Okay? Well, I hope you learned something. And that's what I want to do, is show you different things to do. You can get plastic beads and work with your children. I have a whole set, a whole like box, and it's just for kids' beads. If kids are stringing beads, they need the big holes. You know, they need big holes. It's eye-hand coordination. And that's a really good activity. It's frustrating for them. But even if you use a shoestring that has a little plastic, or take a piece of tape and wrap it around the tip so it's stiff, so it doesn't frustrate them because it folds. Or you could dip it in glue and let it harden, and then it's stiff and they can thread it through. That's fun with kids. And you can a lot of times find things like this at secondhand stores or, yard sales and things like that. This whole bead box was gifted to me. I bought it for like 20 bucks. A guy passed by in a yard sale and found them. And that's what my grandkids mess with. So they stay in those beads. And Yaya got her own beads. They don't mess with those. What are you doing, little doggy? Boy, he's just scratching and there's no ground to dig. Okay, so the end result is I should have some earrings, and the earrings might just still run along with some beads that might match these other ones, all right? Yeah, I like to have some theme of a bead that can be in another piece. We can mix and match them. They're still different, but then they're the same. They have something running through that's part of another piece. All right. Anything else I can think of right now? Go buy you a couple of tubes of beads, a couple of colors, tweezers, round nose, flat nose, pliers. You want some stretchy cord so we can make a bracelet maybe, or an anklet. We'll make a ring and some earrings. So earrings, a ring, a bracelet, something like that. Or I might just walk you through some of the stuff I'm doing. If I can get hold onto this camera better, we'll try to let you watch me make a piece. All right? How's that sound? If you can, this kind of wire, it came from Home Depot. So find you some wire. If you know people that recycle, go to the little recycle place. Ask the recycle man if he has wire, copper wire. And you play with that. All right? Just bend it, move it, get it going in circles, turn it back the other way around. Just mess with it. How you tell old people just mess with the computer, do the same thing. Peace out. It's the CaliGriot. I'll see you next time.